Yes, so watching news today on Joy News. Now, lawyer and women's rights activist Angela Dramana Abuaje has challenged the police to uphold the confidence Ghanaians have in them by picking up the case involving a middle-aged woman who was sexually assaulted publicly at Kejetia in Kumasi. The woman was alleged to have stolen money during Valentine's Day. In a video, the fair-looking lady is stripped naked and attacked in public. Speaking with me earlier on News Desk, Madam Dramana Abuaje, who is also the Executive Director of the ACT Foundation, asked institutions in the country to up their game.
It's tough. I had tears in my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, that in Ghana in this century, we would have a thing like this happening, and happening to women in such a cruel, barbaric way. It just reminds me of that story of the woman caught in adultery who was brought before the Lord Jesus, and he said, if there's anyone among you who has not sinned, you throw the first stone. I'm not sure that those people who did what they did are innocent. I'm not sure that they're people who live above board, and they have no right, no business doing a thing like this. Nobody has any right to take the law into their own hands. Whether it's a man or a woman they catch doing anything, there are clear rules concerning issues of criminality and how even citizens arrest if they have to. And I am totally scandalized. Honestly, I'm totally scandalized by this.
As a lawyer and someone who's been fighting for women's rights, what goes through your mind after seeing something like this?
Well, one thing, I'm sad because I don't hear the outrage that needs to come out of society. I mean, in the past, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, there would have been a huge hue and cry from the human rights organizations, the women's rights organizations, civil society, and even well-meaning citizens. I think this thing has been trending, and we are busy discussing everything else, the media, everybody else, and I mean, if this has gotten me out for quite some time, then you can tell that it's really gotten to me. I think also that it's indicative of the fact that we have forgotten that for years and years, we advocated for gender justice. We advocated for ensuring that violence against women and girls is curtailed to a great extent. It seems as if we've left it on the back burner. Yes, we are talking about social protection. We are talking about all manner of things. But the issues around violence, particularly against women, which is endemic and which is getting more brutal by the day, we have really left it behind.
If you say it is getting more brutal by the day, what have you seen?
What I've seen is that the nature of it, look at something like this, where a woman is stripped. Somebody would say, well, they catch men and they sometimes even beat them to death, which is equally bad, okay? And nobody should ever think that mob justice of any kind should be tolerated. But when it comes to women, this is also set within not just the social justice framework or criminal law framework, but within violence against women, which is completely a human rights issue as well. Look at the manner in which they purported to arrest her, they stripped her, and look at the acts of violence that were perpetrated against her. You can count many of these acts of violence, the assault, the battery, the sexual assault, the indecent assault. You can just keep counting what happened to this woman because somebody thinks she's committed a crime. We have institutions of state, and my hope is that now that we have a new gender minister, the things that we've forgotten, look, there are things that we remember to do. Social protection was one of them, and we are happy about that. But there are things that we forgot to do. Violence against women and girls is one of them. And I tell you, since we stopped talking, domestic violence is on the rise, sexual violence is on the rise, and the brutality of those acts are on the rise.
Where do you think we went wrong? Because this is not the first time we're seeing something like this. Where do you think we've gone wrong when it comes to the law?
I think that it's not ignorance of the law any longer. I mean, social media has cured us of a lot of ignorance, if you like. It's more to do with a society that thinks that people can do what they like and get away with it. Our institutions are weak or they are discriminatory. I mean, if something happens to somebody who is very important, the amount of attention that we'll give to that is very different to somebody whom we think is not so important, okay? And this is where, for example, I'll talk about the Ghana Police Service. I mean, I have confidence in the Ghana Police Service. I was a prosecutor for a long time. When they want to crack a case, they will crack it. I believe Ghana Police is as good as any police anywhere. But there are times when we are worried because they consider that this particular case is of more importance or is of, you know, sometimes we get the feeling, especially those of us who work in civil society and in women's rights, that some of these things may not be taken with the seriousness with which we deserve. These, I mean, when it comes to violence against women, especially those that are coming out from the homes, for example, no matter how difficult the case is, the tendency is to invite the perpetrator. In other jurisdictions, you don't invite a perpetrator who is seen to have defiled or who is seen to have brutalized somebody in a home. You go and arrest them. But here in Ghana, we still keep inviting them, and they come at their will. And depending on whether somebody is interested in the case or not, you know, sometimes it may go in a certain way that you don't want. I know the police will crack this case if they mean to. This is pure CID action. Coupled with DOPSU or whoever else, we don't care. They should go on the ground. They should put on their plain clothes. They should go on the ground and crack this case. And let Ghana be proud again of our police.
Now, spoken word artist, poet, writer and producer of the Heritage Theatre series, Wogbejeke, Chief Momin, has stressed the need to appreciate Ghana's history to drive tourism. He was speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of a ceremony to outdoor plans and activities to commemorate the Ghana at 60 celebration.
In Ghana, we have a rich culture, we have a rich history, but many of us don't know or appreciate this history. And I believe that if we're able to package this history through theater, through movies, through productions, we can really sell our country to ourselves as well as to the outside world. That can even drive tourism. I believe that every African should feel that if I don't come to Ghana before I die, I haven't been anywhere. And that is what we call heritage tourism. So Heritage Theatre series will educate people about our history and will inspire us to give of our best in our nation building process. The creative art industry will play a very important role in the way we commemorate our 60th anniversary. So I think that they are reaching out to people who have leveraged on their talent and their hard work to do things in the industry.
The Ghana 60 Committee has adopted the Heritage Series as part of the anniversary celebration. Member of the Ghana 60 Planning Committee, Jefferson Saki, debunked views that such activities is a waste of resources.
This definitely will not be a waste of money for the country. I mean, you cannot tell the Ghanaian story without going to tell our past story. You know where we came from as a nation, the days of slavery. I mean, the days of Yaa Asantewaa and those who struggled for the nation's survival. And then came the struggle for independence, where you had the Big Six, where you had people who also contributed, you know, to the struggle of our country and the survival of our country. At the end of the day, what the Wogbejeke Theatre Heritage performances or group will be achieving is in telling the Ghanaian story in a very positive way, in the right limelight that we all need to say and tell as a nation.
The first play in the series, Wogbejeke, The Birth of a Nation, was staged in July 2015 and has since been staged several times. You're still watching News Today on Joy News. Emmanuel Abuajiri will join us very shortly with the latest in business. Don't go away.